Okay, this video is going to be a direct response to staying insane amongst the insanity over here on YouTube. Okay, you know, I did see your comment you left. Okay, and I did actually watch a video you made. During the time that the video went up on YouTube, I was in the middle of doing a recording with Steve Hoka. Okay, and I saw it pop up in my corner. I also saw you done another video at Steve Hoka. I left you a link to my BitChute account where I have re-uploaded the video reply that I made at you yesterday on your women hitting the wall video. Okay? Now I'm going to say this. From the time that I've been acquainted with your videos, your profile here on YouTube, before you took all of your videos down, you said a lot of good stuff. You appeared to be a very intelligent man who's awake to a lot of truth in today's society. Okay? That's no lie. And when I read your comment, knowing what I know about your character online, I think you're still an honest man. I really do. And I believe you, okay? I don't believe it was you that actually flagged my video down or caused it to be taken away from the public's view. Okay? But I do believe you are directly responsible for that happening to me. And how do I say that? I'll say that for this reason. For whatever reason it is, you seem to have an obsession with Steve Hoka. Now, you may not want to call it an obsession, but I'll tell you what. Since you removed all of your videos or put them on private, and you've been posting new videos up on your channel, why don't you do your own self a favor? Count the videos you've done since you pulled your videos down. Only your newest ones since pulling them down. Count how many are addressing Steve Hoka compared to the rest. You have an obsession. Okay? I don't know why you've chose to go this route, but I am going to tell you this. Because Steve and I are talking again, and because we are doing some things together, and because you have this obsession with Steve for slamming him, what's happened here is the people who despise me, the people who despise Steve, the people who even despise you, yourself, which most likely are TFLers in denial. I agree with Steve on this. Okay, trolling. But the one thing's for sure, people with this mentality, whether they're TFLers not in denial or trolls, they have a mentality to love confrontation. They love drama. You should already know the world we live in is filled full of drama. These people are actually getting off on your obsession with Steve. And every time Steve does a podcast and he rants about you, they love it. Then you do another video towards him, and then he says something else to your video. They're eating it up. They love it. Now, I've asked Steve not to reply to you. That's totally up to Steve now. I've only asked him, and I'm not his boss, and by no means am I telling him what to do. I've asked him like I asked you. When you said you were moving on, that you wanted to help people, I simply asked you in a reply video I made to you to move away from Steve Hoka for right now. I did that because I knew that if you kept going, this was going to happen. Not necessarily onto me, but I knew it was going to come my direction regardless. Now, as far as the sock account of you, I believe you. I've been doing this for a long time, long probably before you even come along. I've had my channel mimicked before, so it wouldn't be the first time, okay? But the thing is we have people out here that have issues. You should know this. And they get off on confrontation. So what they've done here is directly because you've done all these videos with Steve Hogan. Steve Hogan's mentioned you. They've gotten themselves embroiled into this and they're loving it, okay? Then I'm talking to Steve and they're seeing this, okay? And they're, oh. So then I've noticed in a couple of live streams I've done, I got some of the very trolls from Hoka's page onto my page now. But unlike Hoka, I don't let what Steve does is his business. I don't let them stay. I remove them. I hide them from my channel, and I do away with them. And as fast as they can make another account, I can remove them faster than they can make that new sock account. So if they got 3, 4, 5 sock accounts, so what? That's 3, 4, 5 clicks of a click on a mouse. One time per each sock account. And they have a lot more work to do to create one than I do to go click, you're gone. They'll get tired of me not acknowledging them but removing them immediately. And not able to steer up drama in the chat. So they'll eventually give up. So in a way, you're directly responsible for my reply to you being flagged down. Because I'll tell you why. These people wanted me to blame you. They wanted to see me, you, and Steve Hoka all in a broiled battle online. Videos back and forth at each other. Ain't gonna happen. Just ain't gonna happen. Because I'm doing this one now as an apology to you for saying that you flagged my channel. Because you yourself, I don't dislike you. You understand this? I don't hate you or dislike you. Hell, I don't even know you personally. So how could I hate or dislike somebody I don't know personally? Okay? But I do see an issue because it's almost like as if you chose to either go back to sleep about what's going on around you. Okay? I don't know what's going on in your life, but I can tell you this. You spoke a lot of truth before and you took that truth down. And now you're going along with mainstream media narrative, which is propaganda, lies, and BS. What fired me up in the video that I made in response to you, a video about women hitting the wall, was the fact that you started it off saying that there was no social conditioning or engineering, which is social conditioning, here at all. And then you went on explaining why women hit the wall, and your examples from these other countries was all social engineering. People ain't, lonely, undesirable women. Okay? The names that are being called to these women in this other country, right? That you used. That's no accident. And that's a society calling these people this. A society. That's social engineering. What, do you think NWO stopped with the United States? No. NWO, New World, One World, includes every country on the face of this planet. And you can bet your bottom line, the powers to be have socially engineered social conditioning on every single society across this planet. Now, you probably have different social engineering techniques, different depending on the cultures. Yes. See, so when you said there was no social conditioning or social engineering involved in this, and then you clearly described example after example after example of exactly what you said was not involved. This is why I came at you. Because that's deception. It's not truth. Truth is, there is social conditioning going on across the globe. Why you've turned your back to the truth is beyond me. It's not for me to figure out. If I can make guesses, but that's exactly what they are, is guesses, okay? It don't mean I'm right or wrong. Okay? If I was to make a guess, an intelligent guess, it would be because you have somebody in your life right now and you have a child with that person, and you're fearing losing this person, or this person looking at you differently and leaving you. And you don't want that to happen. That you have lots of time and possibly money tied up into this girl, this woman, and that you have feelings for her. All due respect, I understand that. Okay, but you know, the one thing I have noticed is you always seem to do your videos from your vehicle. Unless you're on a vacation, a trip with your woman, then you seem to do the videos minus her. You know, I'm not saying to put her in a video. By no means, don't take me wrong. I would never ask you to do that. My woman sits next to me. That's right, sits right next to me. She's literally 3 feet away from me while I'm making my videos, while I'm doing live streams. She has been on my channels. She knows what I do and what I talk about. She knows about TFL. That's right. I don't hide anything from her. Now, I'm not saying you have to bring this up to your woman. I'm saying I am myself. And with being myself, I'm not about to hide it from her because it's the truth. I'm not going to fear losing her to the truth. Because if I lose her to the truth, then she don't want truth. And she wants to play into, or she wants whatever, which is selfishness for her own want. See, it's not about changing somebody. Relationship's not about changing somebody. And if she has the need to change you, I'm not saying she does. In order to stay with you, you feel that you have to change for her. You're the one that's in the bad spot. Because you should not change who you are for nobody. Though, however, I do understand it's hard. If you've lived TFL and you've been alone for any length of time and you've worked your butt off to try to become successful, as I hear you're a pharmacist, this is what I hear. Only you know that. Okay? And you become what you consider successful, and you've gotten your woman from overseas. It don't much matter to me one way or the other. The important part is you must stay you. If you change for her and she don't change for you, see, this is the problem. This is what I've said a long time ago. People don't know what they're doing. They don't know what a date is no more. They don't understand that a person doesn't change for another person. The person changes if they want to change themselves, and that's it. When you get with somebody, you like each other for who each other is, and you accept them for who each other is, or you don't belong with them. That's how I feel. Okay? You have a right to your own feeling, but this is how I feel. Okay? So, I suspect this is probably the majority of the reason you've done what you've done. Of course, I could be wrong. I told you it was a guess, did I not? Yes, I did. But I'll tell you what, I did repost the video and I left a link for you that I made. It was only to that video because women do not hit a wall. That's complete BS. That's like an old dog. This is social engineering. This is brainwashing. This is programming on a society level. When a person's, for the majority of the females that have fallen into this, they're not at fault for it. No more than the men are. Now the men are at fault for perpetuating the problem by placing her above themselves. They're at fault for that. Because that only perpetuates the problem. And you don't think the powers to be at the top didn't know what was going to happen? They knew if they placed one gender over another, and where the women shall go, the men shall go, that the men would weaken the men down, and the men would bend over backwards too, especially if they couldn't get. Okay? And placing a woman on a pedestal, giving them more than you got yourself, power and greed absolutely corrupt the human mind. And there's never enough of it for anybody. That is the virus that attacks the human brain. So let's just say it this way to you. To believe that women hit the wall is silly. Your own words to everybody else. Back on to you. I know different than that. I'm going to be 58 years old this month. And I've lived a good life. I've been around the block a few times. And I've witnessed and seen for myself. And logic will tell you it. It's in your face. Logic. These women have been pampered, put on a pedestal by other men their whole life. They recognize what they have, their worth, their value, if you'd want to say, in the marketplace, because of social engineering. Now, you think women are acting the way they're acting because no, they're acting the way they're acting because they've been conditioned to act this way, to believe the way they believe, and to act the way they act. Because they get older doesn't mean they change. The only thing that happens when they get older is the only wall they're going to hit is their ability to not bear kids no more. Once that wall's over, as far as companionship goes, there is no wall. Never has been and never will be. I've witnessed it and seen it with my own eyes. Women that are in their 50s, they're just as damn picky as the one in their 20s. Of course they are. That's the way it's been their whole life. They're not just going to change unless they choose to change something. They're not going to just change. They're going to be just as picky. And of course, there's levels of degrees to every woman. Nobody's the same. Not every single woman is the same. Everybody thinks women just want everything a guy's got and will rob them clean. There are women that will do that. But then there are also women that won't do that. My son's mother didn't want a thing when we broke it off. We were together for years. She didn't ask for a thing. She didn't use the courts to try to take anything. See, there are women that don't do that. So just understand that if the reason you took them down is because of this, I understand you. I'm not against you. My reply, I meant what I said. As far as the social engineering. If you hadn't used, there's no social conditioning in this, and tried to play out as this is just a normal behavior, I would have left you alone. But you clearly deceived yourself and the public when you made that statement. Now, maybe your wife found your videos. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe you're in fear of her finding the videos. Maybe it's not even her. Maybe there's another reason. Okay, but I don't know how you can be so awake and then suddenly just change your mind and go with the mainstream narrative. Outside of pressure, peer pressure, afraid of losing something, why would a person do that? There has to be something behind it, and only you know that reason. As far as the flagging goes, I asked you before politely to stop with Steve Oka. So yes, directly, you are actually the reason I got flagged on my reply to you. See, this is a mind game to these individuals who are getting off on this. They knew I'd probably say your name. They were hoping you and I would get into a confrontation. They were loving it, just like the confrontation between you and Steve. They're loving it. You're feeding into their ego. And they want as much of that as they can get. So you just keep flying them videos on Steve. And watch and see. They're going to hope Steve says something. They want this to go on. And because I'm talking with Steve and we're doing recordings together, now they're on my channel, which I knew they would be. And now they're trying to pit you and me against each other so they can perpetuate this problem and make it grow. So I'm doing no more. I've said what I feel. Now I'm walking away. Okay? I understand some of the stuff you're saying about Steve. Steve did do. He knows. He took his videos down and ran. He's done this over the years many times. He knows this. But you don't have to egg that on. That's up to Steve to correct that. He knows he's criticized others for taking their videos down when he's taken his own down. He knows that was wrong of him. Because, see, we're all human beings and we all make mistakes. But the one thing I can say about Steve is Steve's an honest man. And he's not meaning harm here. He has faults just like you have faults, just like I have faults, just like everybody has faults. And if you hook yourself into calling out somebody's faults, and then you make a mistake, and they start calling out your faults, that's childish behavior. But we have people on the internet that love this type of stuff. And that's most likely why I got flagged down. Because you have an obsession that's caught their eyes. Now, I'm working with Steve, so they're focused in on me, you, and Steve. And they're coming onto my channel, and now they've clearly made it look like you've done something that you haven't done. See, I agree with you. I think you told me the truth. I really do. I don't think you're a liar. Okay? So understand that. But it's still because of your obsession that this got started. I didn't ask you to stop on Steve for no reason at all. Because I knew that I was already going to have problems with them coming to my channel. The ones that were trolling him. And now, you see where this has gone? I knew this was going to happen. Okay? Now they're trying to pit me and you against each other. That's why they've done this. And I'm not going to go there no more with them. And I don't want you to go there no more with them either. So I'm going to ask you one last time. And of course, I'm asking. I'm not telling. Because it is totally up to you, dude. It's your channel. It's your life. Okay? Walk away from Steve. Okay? I mean, before when you called him out and said things, you didn't have an obsession. You did one or two videos on him and you moved on. You didn't talk about him for a long time. And then something happened and you did one or two, whatever, moved on. That's not what's been going on. Every time he's got a video after video, I mean, come on. I'm doing a recording with him today when a video comes up from you saying, where's Steve Oka? What's happened to Steve Oka? Well, what's happened to Steve Oka? He's been working. He's been working all day long. See, the guy's a HC furnace tech. Yeah, he's an HVAC tech. That's what he taught when he was a teacher. I've known about this for Steve from years now. The man's busy. The man has a job that requires the majority of his time. And if he wants to have a living, he has to be on that job or he won't have a job. No different than if you're a pharmacist, you have to be to work or you won't have a job, you won't have an income. It's no different for him. So he ain't got time to be here all the time. Okay, and then when he don't do something in a week, somebody's right there saying, where are you? Okay, like his life is right there on the internet. No, he has a life outside of the internet. You know, and he's got a mother that's in a nursing home and he's trying to take care of his mother. And I think everybody owes that to their parents. That's my feelings. Your parents brought you into this world. They raised you. They brought you up. They spent their money buying you food, buying you clothes, bringing you up. When they're too old to care for themselves, you need to be there for them. That's only respect. That's my feelings. So I stand with Steve. But at this point in time, that's all I got to say to you, okay? And remember, I don't hate you. I don't dislike you, okay? So don't take me wrong. My reply that you'll see when you click on that link was based on the fact that you said there was no social engineering here. And then you clearly gave example after example of just that. Okay? Which there is. No, women do not hit a wall. That's complete BS. Hate to say it, but I'm only telling you as it is. You can agree or disagree. I really don't care one way or the other. With that being said, I'm out of here. And I hope that you'll take my advice into heart this time and stop with the stuff on Steve. Because these trolls are loving the hell out of what you're doing. That's why I told Steve to ignore you. That's up to him. I've also told Steve to hide, remove trolls from chat and don't even say a thing to anybody, just remove them. It's up to him. I can only give advice. It's up to other people if they want to do it because that's how I'll handle it. But anyhow, with that being said, I'm out of here.